Imagine if one simple practice could permanently remove fear from your body. It might sound far-fetched, but as someone who's applied it in my own life, I can tell you it's real. Fear used to run my life. I was afraid of everything, especially when it comes to social endeavors. I was afraid of women, of big social gatherings, etc. The list is endless. One powerful technique changed all that, giving me a level of drive, peace, and courage I never thought possible. In this video, I'm going to share exactly how to use the letting go technique taught by Dr. David Hawkins to release fear from your body once and for all. I'll draw from my personal experience and Hawkins' insights to explain what the technique is, how to do it step by step, and the amazing benefits you can expect from feeling lighter and less anxious to literally improving your health, relationships, and happiness. It all comes down to a few simple steps that anyone can practice. At the end, I will tell you exactly how my daily letting go practice looks like that helped me improve so much. Okay, let's begin. Why fear is holding you back. Let's start with some eye-opening truth. Fear is not your friend. In fact, fear itself might be doing you more harm than whatever you're afraid of. Dr. David Hawkins wrote that fear itself is the greatest danger that the human body faces, noting that unresolved fear and its close cousin, guilt, can actually lead to disease and failure in every area of life. Think about that. All the stress and tension of fear we carry can wreck our health, drain our energy, and sabotage our success. I know for me, living in constant fear manifested as me withdrawing from life, which led to me missing out on many opportunities. Why does this happen? Most of us try to avoid or suppress our fears. We pretend they're not there, distract ourselves, or project them outward. Carl Jung observed that people often cast their shadow, their hidden fears, onto the world and then fight those external things instead of facing the fear within. But burying fear inside takes a massive toll. It's like trying to hold an inflated beach ball underwater. It takes energy to keep it down, and sooner or later, it's going to burst up. Hawkins explained that it takes a lot of energy to keep the shadow, our fears, buried, which leaves us feeling drained and even inhibits our capacity to love. In other words, all the energy you spend subconsciously holding down fear could be used for living, for creativity, love, and joy, if only you release that fear. Perhaps the biggest irony is that we often cling to fear because we think it's protecting us. There's an unconscious belief that our anxiety and worry keep us safe, that if we let go of fear, we'll be defenseless. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Fear is what blinds us to the real dangers of life. We could take the same protective action out of love rather than out of fear. In other words, you can still be safe without the chronic fear, and you'll actually see situations more clearly when not clouded by fear. Once I learned this, it was a game changer. I realized that to get rid of fear's negative effects, I had to stop running from fear and instead face it and let it go completely. And I learned that there was nothing actually wrong with me. It was just that I had accumulated tons of stuck emotions during mainly my childhood, which prevented me from being at ease in social situations. Okay, now let me introduce to you the technique that completely changed my life. What is the letting go technique? The letting go technique is a simple but powerful method for releasing negative emotions, like fear, by facing them directly rather than fighting or fleeing them. It was developed by psychiatrist and spiritual teacher Dr. David R. Hawkins, who outlined it in his book, Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. The core idea is surprisingly straightforward. When you feel an emotion, instead of suppressing it or obsessing over it, you allow yourself to fully experience it without resistance until it dissolves. Hawkins describes it like this: letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, and letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. The first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it. Let go of wanting to resist the feeling. It is resistance that keeps the feeling going. In short, what you resist persists, and what you embrace and observe will begin to dissipate. Think of fear as a flow of energy in your body. If you clamp down on it, that energy gets stuck and keeps haunting you. If you open up to it, it can move through and release. Neuroscience and psychology echo this. Feeling an emotion fully in a safe way allows the nervous system to process and let it go, rather than store it as trauma. The letting go method gives us a practical way to do this consciously. Important, letting go is not the same as suppression or trying to be positive. In fact, it's the opposite. You're not forcing the fear away or pretending everything's fine. You're facing the fear head-on with acceptance. Dr. Hawkins emphasized that this technique is not about repressing feelings, but about allowing them to pass through without adding extra drama or judgment. You're basically saying to the fear, okay, you can be here, I'm watching you. By doing that, you stop feeding the fear additional energy. Also, you aren't analyzing the fear or obsessing over why it's there, you simply feel it. Hawkins notes that the thoughts and stories in our mind are often just excuses or rationalizations attached to the emotion. The real cause is the accumulated emotional energy itself that wants to come up and be released. So, during letting go, you ignore the racing thoughts and mental narratives and keep your attention on the raw feeling in the body. Don't worry, I'll break down exactly how to do this next. The amazing thing is that when you truly let an emotion process without resistance, it will eventually fade out. A feeling that's fully acknowledged and allowed will run its natural course and evaporate as the energy behind it dissipates. Sometimes it might fade in minutes. Other times, if it's a deep fear, it might release layers over multiple sessions. But each time, you'll feel lighter. In my case, after I learned to let go, I would often end a session of fully feeling my fear with a surprising sense of relief, even a little laugh or tears of release, and a profound calm afterward. Hawkins mentions that when a true surrender happens, people often feel an immediate lighter, happier feeling, almost like a high. I can attest to that lightness. It's like setting down a heavy backpack you didn't realize you were lugging around. Okay, so now let's get into detail. How to use the letting go technique to release fear. So how do you actually do this? Let me walk you through the step-by-step process of letting go of fear. The next time you feel fear, or even if you're carrying a deep-seated anxiety or phobia, you can apply these steps. I often do this as a daily practice, scanning for any fearful feelings and releasing them. First, acknowledge and accept the fear, stop running. The first step is by far the most important, and yet it's the one most people avoid. You must face the fear and admit it's there. Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this, or distracting yourself, pause and notice the feeling of fear inside you. Name it to yourself, I feel afraid, and allow yourself to accept that it's okay to feel this way for the moment. This is crucial because as long as you refuse to acknowledge the fear, you can't release it. Like Hawkins writes, allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting, condemning, or moralizing about it. Drop judgment and see it's just a feeling. So I tell myself, alright, fear is here, and that's okay. I don't need to push it away right now. This attitude of acceptance immediately takes you out of the denial and suppression mode and into a state of awareness. Often, just admitting, yes, I'm scared of X, is a relief in itself because you're no longer fighting the fact of it. Remember, don't judge yourself for having fear. Humans all feel fear sometimes, and it doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, by acknowledging it, you're being courageous. Fun fact, we even tend to have fear of our own fear. Hawkins notes that a fear of fear itself is common. Part of acceptance is letting go of any fear or guilt about the feeling of fear, if that makes sense. It's okay to be afraid. Realize that first. Second, feel the fear fully without resisting. Next comes the core of the letting go technique. Allow the feeling of fear to express itself within you, without trying to escape or suppress it. This means actually feel the sensations in your body that come with the fear. Maybe your chest is tight, heart pounding, stomach in knots, palms sweaty. Pay attention to those physical sensations of fear. It might be uncomfortable, but give the fear permission to be as intense as it wants, just for now. Emotional energy needs to be felt. When suppressed, it grows louder. When you let the emotion be felt, the energy dissipates. So breathe and surrender to the emotion. Don't fight it. If you notice yourself tensing up against it, see if you can soften that resistance. Drop any urge to shove the fear back down. Instead, almost encourage it to come up. Alright, let me feel this fear completely. So you, first, stay with the sensation. Let yourself feel the raw physical energy of fear, tightness, heat, tingling, without judging or analyzing it. If thoughts, what if, arise, simply notice them and let them drift by. Then return your attention to the bodily sensation. Second, Let thoughts pass. Imagine anxious thoughts as clouds or a TV playing in another room. You can acknowledge them, I hear you, but don't engage. Each time your mind wanders, gently bring your focus back to the feeling itself. Third, surrender and release. After fully experiencing the wave of fear, rising, peaking, then ebbing, choose to let it go. Internally ask, am I willing to release this? And exhale. You may feel relief, a softening, or even a little high as the energy dissipates, or you feel nothing. Either way, it's fine. Don't hunt the feeling of lightness. Keep it simple. Feel, don't think. Notice, don't grab. And when ready, willingly let it flow away. Repeat this regularly to build your fear-free life. Congratulations, you've just practiced letting go of fear, but the process might not be over, and that's perfectly normal. Deep-seated fears can have multiple layers or may recur if triggered again. Hawkins notes that sometimes a feeling you let go will return or continue because there is more of it yet to be surrendered. We have stuffed these feelings all of our lives. There can be a lot of energy pushed down that needs to come up. Don't be discouraged by this. Think of letting go as an ongoing practice, not a one-time trick. Each time you fully face and release an emotion, you're unloading some of that lifelong baggage, and you will feel progressively lighter. If fear comes back tomorrow, or if you discover another fear hiding underneath, simply go through the steps again. Every round of this process will weaken the grip of fear further. Over time, you'll find that fears, which used to paralyze you, have significantly less power or even fade away entirely. You can do it anytime, anywhere, while sitting quietly or even in the middle of daily activities. Whenever an emotion in your life comes up, instead of trying to change the circumstances in the outside world, look within and surrender to that emotion. With practice, letting go becomes a natural response whenever fear or stress arises. Eventually, it becomes almost automatic. Fear shows up, you acknowledge it, feel it, release it, and move on. This habit ensures that fear never gets a chance to take root in your body again. It gets cleared out as soon as it appears. By following these steps, you are retraining your mind and body to handle fear in a healthy, effective way. Instead of fear controlling you, you're learning to observe and dissolve fear. It's incredibly empowering. In fact, after doing this for a while, you'll likely notice something profound. You are not your fear. You'll experience what Hawkins describes, that you are actually the observer or the witness of these feelings, not the feelings themselves. Fear is just a transient energy that comes and goes, but the real you remains intact and untouched beneath it. This realization alone can permanently loosen fear's grip because you stop identifying with it. You no longer say, I am afraid in the same way. Instead, you see, there is fear present and I can let it go. That shift in perspective is life-changing. Okay, now I will tell you exactly how my daily letting go practice looks like. It's pretty simple. The first letting go practice I do daily is I just sit still, relax my body, and focus on my bodily sensations and what I feel. I mainly focus on the stomach and heart area because this is where most of the feelings are felt. Then, when some feeling demands my attention, I just focus on it and relax into it without trying to change it. When you don't feel anything, that's fine as well. Just focus on the numbness. Just accept whatever you feel. After a while, you will want to sit up, feel this resistance, and continue sitting. When you are caught up in thoughts and realize it, just return to your bodily sensations. That's it. Don't try to hunt for feelings, let them come to you on their own. This practice usually lasts 20 to 60 minutes, and I do 1 to 3 sessions daily. The next practice I do is I visualize the worst outcome in any given situation, and I then just sit with the feelings that come up. Let's say I want to release feelings of social anxiety. What I then do is I visualize some situations that trigger social anxiety. Note that just use my thoughts to visualize a certain situation, not to think negatively about the situation or emotion that comes up. Then I just feel whatever sensation or feeling comes up. Then I will visualize the situation again and repeat the process until the feeling lessens or I am just done for the day. Even the tiniest bit of progress is valuable. There are more techniques that I will share with you in other videos. Now let's talk about the benefits of releasing fear from your body. You might be wondering, what's life like on the other side of fear? From my experience and the testimony of many who practice letting go, the benefits are truly life-changing. Here are some of the amazing changes that come from permanently releasing stored fear: profound inner peace and less anxiety. The most immediate benefit is a sense of peace. When you regularly let go of fear, you stop living in constant fight or flight mode. Improved health and energy. Dr. Hawkins pointed out that fear and guilt contribute to disease, so letting go of fear may literally boost your immune system and overall health. You also reclaim the energy that was spent suppressing fear. Suddenly you have more vitality to put into productive things or just to enjoy life. It's common to feel more energetic and even look healthier. People might say you look more alive or relaxed once you've shed a lot of fear. Greater confidence and freedom. As fear diminishes, you become more free to be at yourself. Think about it. Fear is often what stops us from going after our dreams, speaking our mind, or trying new things. When you're not carrying that constant dread of what if I fail or get hurt or judged, you start taking bold actions. Releasing fear unlocks your potential. You'll surprise yourself by doing things that fear once talked you out of. This confidence isn't an ego trip. It's a natural confidence that comes from no longer being chained down by fear. Better relationships, more love, less fear. Fear often manifests in relationships as jealousy, insecurity, or distance. When you let go of fear, you can approach others with more love and openness. Hawkins noted that suppressing fear inhibits our capacity to love, so removing fear lets love flow more freely. I became less defensive and more empathetic as my fears of rejection, of being hurt, etc. subsided. You may find you're able to be more authentic and present with people because you're not living in your anxious thoughts. This can deepen friendships, family bonds, and romantic relationships. Also, you'll handle conflicts or tough conversations with more calm versus panic. Overall, you relate to others from a place of security rather than fear, which makes a huge difference in the quality of your connections. Higher emotional and spiritual well-being. On a deeper level, consistently letting go of fear and other negative emotions can raise your overall emotional vibration or baseline. Hawkins described this as moving up the scale of consciousness towards higher states like courage, acceptance, and love. As fear melts away, you might naturally feel more gratitude and positivity in everyday life. Some even report spiritual growth, feeling more connected to their true self or to something greater once fear isn't in the way. Remember, the goal of letting go is inner peace and freedom. When fear no longer rules you, you experience a kind of inner freedom that is the hallmark of spiritual peace. You become more of the observer of life, not so caught up in ego-based worries. For me, this meant I worry far less about things I can't control and trust life more. Waking up without that familiar anxiety is a beautiful feeling. It changes your whole outlook. In essence, you start to live with a sense of safety and trust in life instead of constant fear. These benefits compound over time, and they are permanent. Once an emotion released, it is released forever. It's just that you probably have multiple layers of the same emotion you need to release. I can honestly say that using this technique has been life-changing. It's like living with a new mental and emotional freedom. I want to emphasize one last hidden step. Be patient and gentle with yourself. If you've had certain fears for years, it can take a little time to peel back all the layers. Don't get discouraged if you don't feel 100% fearless overnight. Every time you face your fear and let it go, you're making progress, even if it's step by step. Celebrate the small wins, like feeling a bit calmer in a situation that used to freak you out, or releasing one specific worry today. You are retraining your brain and nervous system, and that is a gradual process. But with each practice, you'll notice fear loosening its hold. Keep at it, and you truly can reach a point where fear no longer runs your life. Thank you for watching and allowing me to share this life-changing practice. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more insights on emotional freedom and the letting go technique. I'd also love to hear your experiences. Have you tried letting go, or is there a fear or other emotion you're working on releasing? Feel free to share it in the comments.